So we are headed to Tract 19 at Fiery Fork Ridge. We're headed south on the private gravel easement road. That's Tract 18 on the right. We just came onto Tract 18, and you'll see that field area. And then the timber will be on both sides of the road, and you'll know you're getting close to Tract 19 when you see that timber on both sides of the road. If you look to the left across into the farmer's field, there's a big old hay barn, not to be confused with the little old hay barn that we passed around Tract 5 and 6. That's another landmark that you're close to Tract 19. And I haven't had a good opportunity to look over Tract 19, so I'm excited to see what we can see here. I'm starting to look now for the survey marker, which would be on the right. And you can see a couple piles of trees. That's just from the road being cleared here earlier this year. That's not a logging operation. That just had to be, those had to be cleared out for the roadway. And I will mention that the gravel and rock have been hauled in on the road, as you can see, but the grader operator has not been out here to do the final grade. So that is why it's a little bit bumpy. And right there it is. Whoop, there it is. So you'll see a T-post, there's a wooden stake, and at the base of that wooden stake there's an actual metal pin. Tract 19 is fully surveyed. So I'm sure you've heard some of these horror stories about properties that haven't been surveyed, and this guy thought the line was here, and etc., etc. Well, this has been fully surveyed recently. Survey map's been recorded with the county, so that's done. Normally I would shut my truck off, but it was giving me issues earlier today, so unfortunately I've got to keep it running. But let's take a look at Tract, here again looking down the road. So that's everything you see on the right is Tract 19. Here on the northeast corner, it's obviously timber, and it's mature timber. Tract 19 is huge, so I can't make a video of the whole thing in one shot. I mean, when you talk about good mature timber, this is it. Wow. That looks like maybe a red oak. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. It could be white oak. I'm not a pro. The leaves make me think it's a red oak. But it's 24 to 30 inches across at breast height. And I believe that's how they measure these trees. But looking down here, I mean, it's just mature timber. Everything I can see on this northeast side. This property directly borders the Fiery Fork Conservation Area, which is over 1,000 acres of land, public land, you can use for hunting or recreation. There are miles of trails. And you can actually see into the conservation area from here. It's not that far on this north end. So if you thought you needed your own 600 acres of land to get a multitude of hunting spots, well, this might be a good option for you. You can own Tract 19 and have direct access into over 1,000 acres that someone else maintains, and you can hunt that. You can use those trails, recreation, mountain biking, probably horseback, whatever. You've got access to the Little Niangua River, but also all the tracks at Fiery Fork Ridge have a private access point a little further to the south to the Little Niangua River, and that's only for property owners. That's not a public access point. So you won't have all kinds of people coming in to put their boats or canoes or whatnot in. It's just for property owners, so you can come down and mess around and bring the kids and swim and fish, put in a tube or have a picnic. And that's actually very close to Tract 19 here. Now Tract 19, of course, has its own frontage. It's got its own private frontage on the Little Niangua. the topography of 19 is interesting. It's basically level here on the east. It slopes down as you go west. And then on the extreme west side, it slopes back up again. And you've got an astounding view on that west side, looking over the river and the bluffs on the other side. I mean, it's amazing. Let's go a little further here on tract 19, because I want everyone to see that it does open up into a meadow area. So now it's transitioning from the timber by the road to this open meadow area by the road. My brakes are squeaking. There's another pile of trees. Again, that's not logging. That's just trees that had to be removed to properly install the roadway. So now you've got this beautiful section of meadow adjacent to the road. Before it transitions into timber. I'll go a little further here. This looks like a pretty good spot to hop out. Again, this is still tract 19. Looking to the north, that's tract 19 on the left. So here we're more toward the southeast corner of tract 19. The nice thing about this property is that it has enough meadow here that if you didn't want to mess with clearing out trees or doing too much work, you could literally pull in onto this meadow and you've got a ready-made site for camping or building or using your RV or whatnot. And if you wanted to venture into the timber, obviously you could do so, but here we're far enough off the road where you could kind of set up shop and be okay. Beautiful property, beautiful trees. I can see about half a dozen different types of trees here, but the main ones you're going to find are the oak. A lot of white oak and red oak. And here as we go west, it's sloping down again. And if I had the time today and wanted to use the whole card on my camera, I could just keep this running and we could walk all the way down to the west and we would end up at the river. And this property does have direct frontage on the river. I don't have my map with me to say how much, but look at the maps to see. And then if we kept going west, we'd go up another hill, and that's where you'd find the amazing, amazing view of the river valley. I did climb up there when we very first had gotten this large property. So we're 10 miles out of Camdenton. We're closer than that to the Lake of the Ozarks, but Camdenton is kind of the main city at the Lake of the Ozarks. So there's something for everybody to do. There's all kinds of stuff because the Lake of the Ozarks is the most popular vacation destination in Missouri. Yes, more popular than Branson. Everybody from St. Louis and Kansas City, because Lake of the Ozarks is sort of in the center, they head to Lake of the Ozarks, and that's why there's a lot of different stuff, water parks, that, enough to keep my 7-year-old happy for 3 weeks this summer. So there's a lot to do there, and that's only 10 miles away. And then this property, it's the only property at Fiery Fork Ridge that has direct frontage on the Fiery Fork Conservation Area and the Little Langua River. It's the only one. And every single one of these properties is amazing. That's why we're up here. That's why we did this project. But this is literally the only one that has frontage on the conservation area and the river. Possibly the only property you'll ever see like that. in the Ozarks or anywhere. I mean, it's unique. Nice large property. Wow, I've gone 10 minutes already. So that's what I get for trying to keep these short, I guess. Private road on the east side, not a public road, not for public use. So if privacy is a concern, it's pretty great. That's tract 19 at Fiery Fork Ridge.